Welcome everybody to the big show. Today, we're going to talk about the secret to higher sales. It's probably not what you think, but it's probably what you need to hear. We also are going to dive into Christian's new, I guess you would call it hobby, passion, and cavity. He got a cavity search on a recent trip. Is that how you would explain it?
I guess so.
And much, much more coming up on this edition of Service Drive Revolution. Before we talk about the cavity search that you had,
which may confuse people.
I wonder how many people in our audience have had a cavity search. You know, my cousin who works in federal prison?
Yeah.
I think he does that. He's not like you on the receiving end of it. He's the
giver of the cavity search.
Or the taker. However you want to describe it. Before we get to that, last month, best results ever for our clients in net to gross. So we have software where we track this and pretty unbelievable results.
The best I've seen in my time.
And I wonder if it's not, I don't know. I guess we have the best coaches we've ever had.
Yes, agreed.
But also we've been more discerning with who we take on as clients than ever before.
So I accept that.
But I think that the coaches are more the catalyst.
Yeah, I think the coaches have a lot to do with it. There's definitely a clarity of direction from the coaching staff down. And I think the other thing that's really interesting is that, yes, many clients that we've just kind of obtained over the last 12 months had record months, which is not surprising. The thing that blew me away is how many clients we've had for 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years that were just absolutely doing the best they've ever done.
Why does that surprise you?
Only because you would think that there's a limit on how much growth you can have. But we have groups that are putting up some fantastic numbers, and individual stores that are, doubled their net over the last 12 months. Like, there's some pretty sick stats out there.
Yeah, and if you're not in our family, in our coaching group, and you want to do better, not just talk about it, but you actually want to do better, reach out. And we do this thing where we'll do we call it a strategy session, but we'll go over some numbers and give you some ideas, and if anything, you'll walk away with a couple new thoughts.
Every single time, there's always a couple of things that we see.
But I'd get a jump on 2024 because momentum is picking up.
We're also
and at some point,
issue.
We're gonna have to put people in reserve, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think that's a bad thing. I know that stresses you out. I think it's a good thing.
Because I like to make everybody happy.
Yeah. I think it's good.
I understand it from a marketing and sales perspective. Supply, demand, all that.
Okay, so in the last week, Christian and I did a world tour. 3 cities in 5 days.
Yeah.
3 cities in 5 days. And the first one, so here's the problem that has been created around here, is that Christian, so when we were flying out on Sunday, I didn't notice until the very last minute that we were flying American, there is no worse airline in the country than American Airlines.
Spirit could challenge
well, Spirit isn't even on my list. I'm not flying Spirit. Yeah, no. But so I was a little upset because people think I'm joking, but I literally did want to get banned on American Airlines during COVID. If you didn't wear a mask or whatever, they would ban you for life.
We were on a flight together when you started to plot it.
Yeah, and I should have done it. I don't know why I didn't. I guess maybe because I just didn't get on an American flight again, but I really was kind of committed to that. And so sure enough, I'm not banned for life. So our office can book us on whatever they want, whatever. And I'm sure the city we're going to, that was the most convenient flight.
By far.
I don't know. When our flights got delayed, I was looking and there's other airlines that fly there. I know that for sure.
Wonderful.
But what's funny is, so now Christian does this thing where if stuff starts going wrong, he's like, oh, great, it's a story for the show. Then that's not how I want to live my life. I don't want bad things to happen to me so we can talk about it on the show.
Okay, now I understand.
Good thing is this happened to you. It didn't happen to me in the cavity search.
That was like karma at its best, wasn't it?
Coming back at the airport, we're going through security. Of course, our flight is delayed because it's American Airlines.
Yeah,
they changed our gate 3 times. It was only...
It ended up being the original gate or something like that, right?
4 hours late?
Yeah, 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah, the original one. But so funny. But we're going through security, and this is Dallas-Fort Worth Airport.
DFW, yeah.
DFW. And we both have TSA pre, so I fly right through, and you get pulled to the side. Your bag, so your carry-on away suitcase, carry-on suitcase, gets flagged by the guy that checks that. He pulls it to the side. Another TSA guy grabs it, takes it over, and starts looking at it. I don't think you had noticed yet that they were doing that.
I was getting there.
All I remember is the guy turns around and he goes, whose bag is this? And he's got the screen where he can see what's in the bag.
Yep.
And he has clear instructions from the guy, whatever it is that made him flag it. He turns around and he goes, whose bag is this? And he goes, where's the powder?
Which is not a question you want to be asked in an airport.
And then you walk up, and first of all, I was always under the impression that you're not supposed to touch the stuff, right?
Not me.
No, you walk right up and you open the thing and you go, it's right there. Meanwhile, news to me, Christian now is a bodybuilding competitor. He's carrying a jug of creatine. The fuck? Why you're carrying? You're gonna compete. You're competing in the Schwarzenegger creatine of all the stuff, but it's not protein powder.
No, I do protein too.
But that wasn't in there. You didn't have a tub of protein powder. You have a tub of creatine.
Yeah, but I had a tub of the bars in my backpack, which didn't get flagged, which were all protein.
All I know is real bodybuilders are drinking egg whites and protein powder.
Fair enough.
Anyway, so he's got a thing of creatine. Now, how much is that thing?
$50 for that
$50.
for that little jar.
So then it turns into an episode of
Keystone Cops was probably...
Oh, no.
It's worse than that.
What were the Three Stooges?
Yeah.
Like that who's on first, who's on second thing? That's what it turned into. So then the guy sets the creatine, like right there, kind of prominently, all by itself. And then he says, something, I'm gonna...
Swab it.
No, before the swab it was, I gotta pat you down now.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And so then it's like, he goes, you don't remember this? He goes, he's putting his rubber gloves on. Like,
I didn't catch that part.
Where's the thing of Vaseline? He's putting his rubber gloves on like you're gonna get your annual prostate exam.
Yeah.
And he looks at you and he goes, would you like to do it here or would you like to go somewhere private? You don't remember that?
I do, because I know exactly what I said.
Oh, right here. You didn't.
Like, no way,
shame.
man. Let's do this right here, buddy.
Dropping my pants right here.
Yeah.
You didn't care. No shame whatsoever. So then the Dumb and Dumber thing happens where he swabs the creatine and it comes back as something.
Contraband.
Whatever.
Right.
So then he swabs you and you come back as contraband. And then there's this, 20-minute discussion in group huddle about, and you're trying to tell him like, well, yeah, I just touched the creatine, but the creatine's on me. And then at no point does anybody go, but is creatine legal?
Not once.
So you touch the creatine, and there's creatine on you when they do those little swabs that they put in the little machine that probably does nothing. It's probably the same company that lady who was trying to sell blood tests, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
What was her name?
I don't know. Elizabeth something.
Yeah, she's in jail now. She probably made those things. You probably could have gunpowder and it wouldn't even tell you. But creatine comes back as something. So, whatever. So then that happens for 20 minutes. And that's not the funniest part of the story, I don't think. So I'm kind of bored with this whole thing.
You looked annoyed.
That guy changed his rubber gloves 3 times.
At least.
Which was super weird, too, that he kept changing his gloves. But anyways, I hadn't mentioned that this is 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I haven't eaten. So before we went to the airport, we couldn't really find somewhere convenient to eat. We're like, we'll go return the rental car, we'll go to the airport, and we'll eat. So I'm starving. And so I'm looking out into the airport, trying to plan our next meal. I'm thinking, once you're done with your cavity search, where are we going to go eat?
Yep.
And there's this larger gal standing there from TSA talking on the phone. So she's on a personal call or something.
I think she was somehow involved initially.
Maybe.
I don't know how, but she was
all
a direct.
When they went to the cavity search, all the female TSA disappeared.
Yeah.
To give you your privacy, I guess. When you get a massage, do you like to get a massage from a guy or a girl?
Woman.
Yeah, I always say female only.
Yeah.
So if I was going to get a cavity search at TSA, I would prefer a female.
Yeah, that's not an option.
Should be.
Yeah, I like that
Anyways,
idea.
this gal is rather healthy.
She's 4'11", 270.
And I thought, like, hey, if there's anybody here that would know where's a good place for lunch, it might be the heavy gal. She's clearly a connoisseur.
Yeah.
She's intaking some calories. There's more calories going in that are being burned off.
Yeah, she knows her way around the airport food, I would say. Yeah.
And so she gets off the phone, and I said to her, I go, hey, where's there a good place around here to get lunch? And now she's taking this very seriously. She like stops and she thinks and she goes, well, right around the corner there is a Louisiana place called something? Papado's. And she goes, that's pretty good. And then she goes, right past that is McDonald's. She goes, but I recently heard that McDonald's isn't good for you.
Recently.
And I said, I don't think I've been in a McDonald's for more than 10 years. And she looked at me like shocked. She's like, what? And I said,
you're lucky you didn't get a cavity search after saying something like that.
I said, I kind of think I knew McDonald's wasn't good for me by the way I felt after you eat it.
This is where it all takes a turn.
I don't need to read it. I don't need to read that McDonald's isn't good for you.
What? A Big Mac's bad for you?
This is what Jeff Bezos is doing with the Washington Post.
Yeah.
Is he's educating the world. I don't know, wherever she heard that. And so she looked at me like, huh? Like, and because I said, I knew that it wasn't good for me by the way I felt after I ate it. And I haven't been there for 10 years. Like, I'm not going to McDonald's. I'm probably going to try the Papa whatever. And she goes, yeah. She goes, yeah, because you're still hungry after you eat it. And I was like, no, that's not it either. No, you feel terrible.
The only good thing to this is that
she's still hungry.
Yeah. It did keep you occupied for like 10 of the 20 minutes of the cavity search.
Yeah, then what did I do? I sat down on the couch.
Oh, you did sit. I remember you standing.
Little TSA couch. Because then the last part of the story is I look over and they're taking you in the back. And they cleared out this back room. And 3 of them escorted you back there.
Yeah, and then there were 7 people in the room. They spread like cockroaches when you turn the light on.
What happened in the room?
Oh, I got violated.
What?
There was an intense search that occurred at that moment.
Searching what?
My whole body.
No, because they had a girl with them.
No. 2 dudes.
2 dudes?
Yeah.
And they, like, you took your clothes off?
No. but there was no limit to what they...
Two of them patting you down at once?
Yes. It was the supervisor pat.
Supervisor pat.
Yeah, so I guess that was more intense. But like they touched things on my body that I was
This is what I know is we flew somewhere else 2 days later, and you gave up on your dream of being a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
You didn't take creatine.
Well, I strategically did it. We were only gone for so long, so I front loaded and end loaded. So I still took it. I just didn't take it with me.
Oh, because that trip was so fast?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I won't travel with it again.
I could have worn the same clothes. I didn't need to pack a change of clothes.
Oh, on trip 2 you did it right. Or you could have done it right. Yeah, it was good. The other funny thing about that is that they actually, I don't know if you noticed this or not, they never opened the jar. The contraband jar. Like literally could have had, I don't know, half a pound of heroin stuffed in there, and they never opened the thing.
Well, they saw it on the x-ray. The only thing it could have been is like loose cocaine or something.
Yeah.
Do you think that little machine would tell them if it's cocaine?
I don't.
I think I think that they bought those machines when Radio Shack went out of business.
Yeah. What else can we get?
Yeah. I don't think that those machines tell them anything. I always think it's funny when they're like, put your palms up, and then they put the little piece of cloth in there, and then they stand there and look at it like.
My other favorite part of this is when I'm in the room, the closed door room with the supervisor, and then the guy, we'll call him Curly from the Three Stooges, but I'm like, yeah, my boss he's been waiting really, really patiently. He's like, hey, do you think we should, won't we bring him in here and pat him down too? Do you think will he think that's funny? And I'm like, no, he won't. Are you sure? We'll do it again. And he doubled down again on the way out. Like TSA fun and jokes.
That guy is not in charge of new ideas.
No. But I kept thinking, like, if I was someone bad, like, there was not a lot to keep me there. I was kind of just doing my thing. Like, what happens if somebody really bad?
They seemed confused. I don't feel safer. I'm going to tell you that right now.
I originally did until you started.
There were a lot of shady people going by while they were worried about you.
Oh, that was the other thing. Yeah, and then they just have way too many employees in that little area.
Wow.
That was so many. And then, like you said, there was a lot of people that looked more suspect than I did.
We want to give more money to schools?
Yeah. Let's do that.
You could cut... well, there were more people standing than working. You could at least cut it by 50%.
That's right.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe that was it's a shift change or something we came on. I don't know, but...
Well, the people there was 3 or 4 people locked in that room that I went in there doing nothing.
This lady's still hungry after she eats McDonald's.
Yeah. That's with the option to supersize and still hungry.
Oh, I'm sure that's that's something she would take advantage of.
Yeah, she doesn't know that there's a medium
She
version.
knows a good deal when she's presented.
Right. But we did make it out of there alive at the end of it.
Oh, we had
fun. It was
fun.
pretty fun. Oh, speaking of like getting in shape and everything like that, I was all excited. So I'm talking to my...
Wait.
Yeah.
If you ask me, I'll give you $10,000 if you can guess what's in my suitcase. Do you know I would never guess creatine?
Probably not. Yeah.
Also, I'm allergic to it.
Oh, well, let's see how this goes, though.
It makes me swell up, and not in the good way.
Yeah, so that's how that's how I feel. I'm gonna give it another
Pillsbury Doughboy way.
I'm gonna give it a couple another weeks, but right now I'm retaining all the wrong stuff.
I would have never guessed.
Yeah, so that's.
I would have guessed heroin before creatine.
Makes perfect sense. But so I'm talking to my dad the other day. He's like, "Yeah, I bought a treadmill the other day," and I'm like, "That's great, Dad. Like, I really, he's in his 70s now, so he's committed to health. He's probably the healthiest he's ever been in his life." And he's like, "Yeah, I bought a treadmill." I'm like, "That's awesome, Dad. Is it a Peloton?" Or he's like, "What's a Peloton?" Of course, so I had to kind of go through that with him, and that's not what he bought. And I'm like, "Okay, so why'd you get that treadmill?" He's like, "Because the rails on it are really good for holding my clothes." He bought a treadmill so that he can have like a clothes hanger instead of
in his room.
Yeah,
smart. That's what a lot of people do.
Not me, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think I'm gonna get him to actually use it one of these days. That would be fun.
Okay, let's get to our subject.
People are like, thankfully,
finally. I wonder how many people are going to send you creatine now.
Oh, it's expensive. I'll take it.
If you're looking to get Christian something for Christmas,
Yeah.
send him a jug of creatine.
I'm ready to get jacked.
Okay. The subject that we're talking about today is the secret to higher sales, right?
Yeah.
Now, I was at dinner on Saturday with a guy I've never met before. It was a group of us, but there was a new guy in the group. Never met him before.
Okay.
How long do you think it took me to profile and know exactly who this guy was? He's one of this. Like, how long into the dinner do you think it took me?
40 seconds.
And what indicators tell you what's important to that person, how they make decisions, how they think, how they see themselves, their identity, their motivators, their demotivators. What do you look at in order to determine that?
Oh, so many things. So their probably their presence, their posture, the things that they say. What are they talking about?
So that's probably the most telling is how they talk.
Yeah.
The way that they frame things, right? The way
Pronouns that they use, stuff like that.
Yeah. And so you can tell a lot about somebody by the way that they express themselves, because how they feel inside comes out in how they express themselves externally.
Sometimes in a magnified way.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And that's true with everybody, right? You can tell somebody's general perspective if they're positive or negative, if they see things strategically, or if they have an external locus of control. You can tell very quickly about somebody, right? Now, when it comes to people in fixed ops, so parts managers, service managers, fixed ops directors, same thing. In 10 minutes, you could tell if this person's successful or not. And not by the way they project themselves as successful, but by the way that they talk, right?
Yeah, and what they want to talk about, all that stuff. Yeah, it's people are trying to tell you who they are.
And so when we're talking about the secret to higher sales, we have, just overwhelming amounts of experience in this that you can pretty much. Well, you know what's funny is what Bustamante said about the CIA, and I forget exactly how he worded this, but basically in a nutshell, he goes, "Oh no, we profile."
That's what they do.
It's not about being politically correct. Like, no, we profile. There's commonalities. Like,
Yeah, it's true.
Somebody cheats on their wife, you can get them to, there's just commonalities between people's behaviors and who they are, right? It's just how it is. Like, it might not be politically correct to say that, but it's the truth, right?
Right.
And I don't know that I care about being.
Well,
I'd rather give good insights than be politically correct.
Right.
Because I don't feel like I'm being disrespectful. I'm just telling the truth. It is what it is. So when you talk about the secret to higher sales, we have a Rolodex of experience and the characteristics between people with low sales, people with stagnant sales, and people with sales off the charts, right? Yeah. The gamut. And there's certain characteristics of the ones that have higher sales than the ones that are stagnant than the ones that have low sales.
Yeah.
Right?
And the groups are super easy to put them in. Like, there's so many commonalities between high performers, and low performers have the same exact group of commonalities in a different way.
And now all you have to do in order to see this is put something up against them to make them react, and then that whatever comes out will tell you who they are, right?
Always.
Especially a challenge. Like you see who somebody really is under stress. Because all the niceties, everything goes away and they become who they truly are. Would you agree with that?
100%.
Okay. So now, what is happening right now in the industry that would be something we could put up against somebody to see who they really are?
EVs. And
Something else.
seasonality.
Perfect. Okay, what season are we in right now?
Going into winter.
Okay, so if we're going into winter, somebody's view of that would tell you whether they're going to have high sales or not.
That's right.
So what would be something that somebody with low sales would say in reference to winter?
We're going to slow down. Traffic's going to be non-existent.
Okay, on the opposite side of that, what would somebody say to that same thing that's going to have high sales?
This actually just happened to me today. My buddy Adam, who he's a fixed ops director down in Naples, Florida, he said, oh yeah, we prepare every winter starting in September and October because we're going to get busy. Like I add on a shift is what he said.
That's great.
But it was the same question. What are you going to do for winter?
Yeah, now let's say you're not in Florida and your RO count goes down. That person might say, well, we have more time to spend on each customer. Our inspections would get better.
Yes, your numbers could be flat if you wanted
Or
them
you're
to
going to have an event to drive traffic. You're going to be doing something, but you're not reactionary. You see it as opportunity, and you're looking at it as how do I create the opportunity versus how do I react to my perception of what it is.
Right.
And so the secret to higher sales is, what is your perspective on the opportunity? Do you even see the opportunity? Like
Or
whenever
just
there's
see the
extremes,
obstacle.
like, so say for example in Illinois, when it gets cold, you got all kinds of things that happen to motorized vehicles.
Yeah, the slide off is my favorite.
Batteries,
Alternators.
coolant systems,
Yep.
popping, like all kinds of stuff happen, right? And is that opportunity?
Tons.
Yeah, but a lot of people see it as, oh, traffic's down, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
So you have to train your mind to see the opportunity,
Exactly.
and you have to believe it. It can't just be fluff.
Yeah, there's a saying that you're preparing and there's a physical preparing. I believe is the huge difference between the doers and the non-doers.
Yeah.
The doers and the complainers.
And so the secret to higher sales this winter is your perspective. How much have you planned? How do you see it? Are you finding the opportunity, or are you letting it slip by? Because you're never going to get this winter back. And the more extreme the weather gets, the more emotional people get, the more opportunity there is.
Yeah, the more the better, right? Oh, what do you call a broke Santa Claus?
What?
Saint Nicholas.
That's pretty good.
Thank you.
That's the secret to higher sales.
I just wrote down a few easy things to focus on during the winter. If you're in those busy area or the cold areas, I think the easiest thing to do is tire checks, because you know those lights are going to come on. Any kind of a winter package, wipers, snow brush Saturday,
What's that?
where they come in for service, they get a free snow brush. You know how cheap those things are to buy a case of those? But everybody needs a snow brush.
That's the brush with the ice scraper?
Yeah, those are great.
You know, I have one of those and I live in California.
That's how I always know I'm in Illinois, is when I get into the rental car and there's an ice scraper on the dash. They're usually really, really good about that. You could host a hot cocoa contest.
Oh. Yeah, any sort of event, right?
Yep. So I definitely had events, and then I also think it's a great time. I don't know what you think about this, but for up north, it's an awesome time to sell interior details, because the outside, you know, it's going to be crappy, but you can make the inside look really, really nice on a car, because it goes through some heck during the use. So I think it's a great time to do interior details. And then if I was a service manager, I would also hold like contests for trips for my people, like a sales contest to get a trip in February. So if you have a really good December or January, they get to go to Acapulco for 3 days.
Send them to Dallas, Fort Worth.
Yeah.
With creatine.
Yeah. What do they call those visits when you go to prison and you can have
conjugal?
Conjugal. You get a conjugal visit to DFW Airport.
So funny.
But I don't know. Those are just things that I was thinking of to make the bad good. It's definitely whatever you think it is how it's going to go.
Yeah. It's funny you've been playing around with that in your head as perception, because my perception is usually different than your perception.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it is there is a thing there that you're starting to kind of catch on to.
Yeah. I don't.
Do you know what that is? That the underlying lesson in that thing?
Well, I think it's the expectation thing that you told me about the other day.
No.
No? Okay.
Value of time.
Oh, that I'm not valuing it enough, probably?
Well, I don't know if it's enough. You're just valuing it different than me.
Yeah.
And there's probably the answer's in the middle, because I'm miserable and you don't want to be miserable, but you want to be more effective, so the answer's probably in the middle.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, so
you don't want to be as uptight as me. You're not built for it, first of all.
But I also wasn't super bothered by the 20-minute thing. Like,
yeah, but that's value of time.
Yeah, if you hadn't pointed out some of the buffoonery that was going on, I probably would have just been like, well, that was weird, and then just gone on. But yeah, it's so funny how we go and we have the same experience from different perspectives, how that turns out.
And how surprised you are.
I almost feel guilty, because like I just didn't have the angst that you have in some of those situations. And then it makes me want to be more sensitive to what's going on for other people. But somewhere in the middle, I get it. Because I need to probably guard my time would be a really good resolution for 2024. Is to guard the time.
2022, still coming out of COVID.
Is that what I almost said?
Great. Well, this was fun. We do hope you're having a happy holiday season, and that everybody's healthy, good. And we will see you next time on Service Drive Revolution. Thanks so much for watching this episode of Service Drive Revolution. We're uploading new stuff every day, so make sure you subscribe and click the bell icon so you don't miss out. If you have a question you'd like us to answer on the show, call 8333-ASK-SDR and we'll answer your question on the show. That's 8333-ASK-SDR. For special deals on our books and training, head over to offers.chriscollinsinc.com. Now that's offers.chriscollinsinc.com. I'm Chris Collins, and I'll see you in the next video.